Welcome, welcome, welcome. Beer Guys Radio. We are live back in the studio. We got No Mike Nate back with us.
He's
after
back.
A near-death experience, little COVID attack there, and then COVID-induced pneumonia.
Yes.
So how you feeling, Nate?
I'm feeling good.
No Mike Nate says he's feeling good.
Did you have any peaks of the afterlife? I know you were really close, circling the drain there.
Or did you want some peaks of the afterlife?
Yeah,
Or something?
he wanted
there
some
we
peaks.
go.
There
Yeah.
we go.
But our guest this week, Neutral Ground Brewing Company, really special one for us. Good friend of ours, Stan Hudson, has started his own brewery with his friend, Sean Doublet. So we're going to talk to these guys and see what's up with NGBC. It's going to be a good time. Internet, thanks for tuning in, watching us. If you're tuning in the stream, feel free to ask questions, comments, anything there. If you want to hit us up on the show, you can call us, Brian. People can call us.
Call us directly on the phone.
678-861-8L, the L line. You can give us a call, drug dial us, leave us a message, or drop us an email at beerguys@beerguysradio.com. Any questions for us, home brewing, professional brewing, we'll find out. We won't know all those answers. Or you want to talk about Brian's beard, send compliments on Brian's beard.
Philosophy, nutrition,
reach out to us, right?
Exercise, anything you want to talk about.
Yes, anything. We don't care. We'll talk about it. But so sounds good, guys. If you're ready, we're going to dive in here and get the radio show recorded. Let's do it.
Rock and roll. Open up a tab, grab a seat, and pour a pint. It's time for the Beer Guys Radio Show.
You want free beer? Go to the brewery.
Dedicated to the art, science, and enjoyment of craft beer.
Yo, what's wrong with the beer we got?
Now, here are your hosts, Tim Dennis and Brian Hewitt.
And welcome to the Beer Guys Radio Show. We are broadcasting from the Beer Guys Radio Studios in Marietta, Georgia. And this week, we're talking with Neutral Ground Brewing Company. I am Tim Dennis, and with me, as always, is my good friend and co-host, Brian Hewitt.
Hey, Tim. So joining us today, we have Stan Hudson, the head brewer, and Sean Doublet, the head of operations for Neutral Ground. We're going to talk about Kink Cake beers, tornado warning porters, if I can get that out, and harvest series of beers. Guys, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
Appreciate it. A lot of great topics to cover there with Neutral Ground. And Neutral Ground, we're going to find out.
What Neutral Ground is all about. Yeah, of course.
Time. You know, Brian, we know this. Nate knows this. Stan knows this. Sean, you probably do too. This is a fun show for us because Stan is a longtime friend.
Indeed.
Stan, what have we known each other? Probably a decade or more at this point?
I think it's at least that, yeah.
Yeah. So, and we didn't actually meet through beer.
No.
It was cigars at the time. We were all cigar smokers. We were on some cigar forums that, if I'm not mistaken, most of them are deceased and gone at this time. So
like way gone.
I think we went through actually several different reincarnations of some of the sites before we got there. But
the politics of those things, people getting banned and people arguing about over the internet.
Break off into factions and stuff. Right. It was crazy, man.
Oh yeah. It was fantastic.
Yeah. Sean, are you a cigar smoker?
I smoke maybe 4 cigars a year.
Okay.
Every now and again.
Gotcha. To be honest, that's about where I am right now. And maybe not even 4 a year. Just every now and then I'll get into one. Not like it used to be. It used to be we'd go, Stan, we met up, a great story of hanging with Stan.
Yes.
We met at what they called the Cigar Tweet Up in Chattanooga, Tennessee. And Stan had actually shipped kegs of beer up.
That's right. Yes.
From Texas to make sure we had some good drinking. And I had the
Escalade.
A sexy Cadillac Escalade at the time. Yeah. And we popped the hatch on that and turned it into a portable bar in the parking lot there. And we drank Stan's. It was. We
basically
were there with
and some other guys, I think, too. Yeah.
And for those that don't know cigars, Pete Johnson would be, I don't know exactly who to compare him to, but he's a cigar superstar, I think.
Yeah. Very much. Yeah.
You know, beer world, he'd be, famous. I don't know an equal comparison.
I don't know how to do that. They're it's so different. The industry
but different.
Same but different.
But that was a good time. Well, speaking of beer and cigars, do you pair the two, Stan? Do you ever dabble with both?
With the brewery, no. Personal life, I always try to figure out something I can have with a cigar.
Sure.
If I'm going to have some beer outside and it's nice enough weather, unfortunately, the weather hasn't been nice enough at all, hardly lately. So
Too hot or too rainy or
yes,
too hurricaney?
Hot.
too hot,
hot.
and then too wet and too humid, and then earlier it was too cold, and just
Always something, man.
it's always too
Just no
something.
love
Just
for
too
that.
much. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Sean, when you do get your few cigars a year, do you dabble in any pairings?
No, not really. It's usually as part
Yeah.
of like a group of guys getting together and just smoking, and usually somebody brings a bottle. It's usually scotch, actually.
That
Um,
sounds good. Yeah.
Right.
We're
Nothing
down
wrong
with
with
that.
that.
That sounds like the perfect reason to smoke cigars. You're there with a few buddies. Someone's got a nice bottle of scotch and a few cigars, and that's really the way to do it up, man.
It's perfect.
That's a
Yeah,
good
it's
time.
perfect. I do have a few because I think I probably smoke more often than most of you guys. My classic was always going with an Oliva Connecticut or an EP Carrillo, New Wave Connecticut, a Connecticut cigar, and a Belgian Golden. Used to enjoy that a lot with Duvel. I used to be my default thing. I do like, and it's just a kind of a layup thing. The Camacho Nicaraguan barrel aged or Perdomo bourbon barrel aged cigars with any kind of stout or darker beer, they're fine. And of course, the Winston Churchill Late Hour is also a whiskey barrel aged one, I believe, and that's a little lighter. So I'd go maybe not as intense with your stouts, but any of those go well. And I found that you can really pair something like a lager or something not very intensely hoppy, not something really boozy, but just about any cigar pretty safely. Just an easy, clean lager usually goes pretty well. You get a little too many hops in there, you start having them fight. The tobacco likes to fight with the bitterness of the hops.
I can see that.
So,
they kind of dominate. Hops will dominate your palate if they're really heavy there.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Yeah, and they make the cigar just taste like hot, just burnt.
Yeah,
Yeah, they don't play well together very often.
No.
Every now and then I found something hoppy that works okay, but almost always it has to do with the hops have faded a little bit, so they've actually lost some of their edge, and that's why they're more palatable.
Okay.
So that's been my experience. I know some people enjoy the combination, and I've been known to be drinking if you go with like a milkshake IPA, that milk quality to it, anything with lactose in it, it's going to go well with a cigar. I mean, across the board.
Nice
and you
and
get away.
creamy, huh?
Oh yeah, I love that. I love that combination. Lactose doesn't love me, but I love it. So.
What if you had a milkshake smoothie seltzer? Would that pair well with a cigar?
No, it'd be
Pair
terrible.
well with a white owl.
Yeah,
With a white owl, grape.
with a purple white owl. Yeah,
Yes.
grape one.
So on those barrel aged cigars, do you get the notes from the barrel? Stan, have you tried those like the barrel aged ones?
I haven't had any of the barrel aged cigars, so I can't speak to that. But I do know. Back to your point, though, is like I do know that I really have always dug like English browns and like the Perdomo, the Padron Maduro lines. Like the brown labels. Yeah, they work fantastic together.
I think that's one that's kind of under talked about, but those that know the Padron's 1000 series and that, like, what is the Padron 5000 Maduro?
Yeah, 5000, 6000, the two big ones, the two really popular ones. But any of the 1000 series are great.
Good stuff.
Great
I need a cigar again.
I want to smoke one of those. They're great.
I'm gonna get a stout. I'm gonna get a bottle of scotch out of the corner here, and I'm gonna fire up a cigar.
There you go.
Perfect. So.
Well, Tim, I think it's time for the beers of the week.
Now it's time for our beers of the week. Brought to you by The Nest, craft beer and barbecue in downtown Kennesaw, Georgia. TheNestKennesaw.com.
Well, Brian, as always, we've got a great list of beers to get into. It's all about NGBC today. We want to thank our friends at The Nest once again for sponsoring. I have some unfortunate news from The Nest. We had Nesttoberfest scheduled. Due to an abundance of caution with the uptick in COVID cases, they've decided to postpone / cancel that for now. But stay tuned. They're going to try and do it again. It was a charity event for Bottle Share. So, good cause, unfortunately, getting hit here, but much better to be. So go show them some support, have some wings and barbecue, help them out, and go see the Bottle Share.
Yeah.
Drop them a little bit. So our beers this week, NGBC, I feel like I'm starting at the top here with the list you put here, Brian. So Kink Cake, NGBC Kink Cake. This is kind of your flagship, your star beer. Sean, is that your brainchild or Stan's?
Actually, it's a collaboration, but it was really Stan's idea. After we decided on the name, and then we had the New Orleans background and the Texas background. He came up and he said, we got to have a King Cake beer, and so then he worked on the formula for it, and it took a couple tries, but man, he really nailed it down. It's a really complex brew. He can explain it better, but I know it's got a way more ingredients than most craft beer.
The typical beer. We're looking forward. We're going to talk about that one more. I can't wait to dip into that. But we also have Force Majeure Hazy IPA. We have Renaissance English Mild, the Juiciest Berries IPA. And Brian, we are drinking right now Synesthesia Saison.
We are, yes.
For those that know, For those that don't know, we'll talk about it a little more in the next segment. So, Brian, real quick, we don't have much time here. Can you give us a quick news story?
What's in the news? The beer guys have the scoop.
Extra, extra, read all about it.
Time for headlines.
Okay, really quick. According to Drinks Business, unusual weather has led to an unusual barley harvest in the UK. The bad news is the dry weather followed by the wet weather slowed everything down, but the slowing down actually resulted in a better barley crop than most years have seen. So better quality, a little later, a pain for the farmers, but it's going to pay off for us drinkers in the end.
A good crop then, huh? All
Yep.
right. Good barley, man, makes good
That's
beer, right?
Slow it down. It matures differently and better, apparently.
Okay. Interesting. Take its time, man.
That's right.
Good stuff. Well, Brian, all the news we got time for this week. We'll do more when we can. You're listening to the Beer Guys radio show. We do need to take a break, but we'll be back very soon with more from Neutral Ground Brewing Company. Clear.
I was looking at the time.
All
I
right.
honestly didn't figure we'd have time for the news at all, so I rushed it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's what it was. We get to talking, and sometimes that happens. We'll have to be more cognizant because people like your news stories, Brian.
Yes,
They like
I've
to
heard
hear
this.
about it. So another new brewery, dedicated listener here. He's here with us every week. Stephen Pete, cheers from Kettle Rock Brewing. Cheers to Kettle Rock Brewing. Stephen, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it. Hey, Stephen, if you know any OSP designers, I need like 50 of them. Tell them to give me a call.
Tim, no day job stuff.
No day job stuff on the beer radio.
That's right.
Steven's
got 3 times 0, man. You've already.
I know. I'm already
You
there.
got all the zeros. How many more zeros do you need? I'll
Yeah.
give you all the zeros on my phone right now.
Hey, Sean, do you know any OSP telecom fiber designers?
Sorry,
I'm 4 for 4, and I'm 4 for 4.
That's 4 zeros, man. People are jealous of that
Yeah,
many zeros.
4 times as many as you had before.
Yeah, that's right. Wait, I need to do the math on this. I don't think I'm making out.
See what your bonus is when you place all these zeros.
Yeah, right. What's 1.5% of 0?
Well, are you ready for more zeros?
Yeah, woohoo.
Oh boy.
Show me diving into a swimming pool full of zeros and just
That's
hitting the
right.
ground on the way through. Like, wait a minute, this didn't work at all.
Those zeros aren't as cozy as I thought they'd be.
Wasn't Family Guy that spoofed the Scrooge McDuck diving into the money thing? Hey, Steven, I can take them remote anywhere in the U.S. There we go. Hold on, y'all. We're doing day job work here, right now. We'll be back with you.
Not in the middle of our episode. Do I get a cut? Because I feel like I need a cut now.
We'll work on it. But I think Family Guy spoofed the Scrooge McDuck thing because they were talking like if you dive into a pool of gold, you're not going to go swimming. Man.
No,
it's going to be a bone breaking hard hit.
It's
there.
always that Peter laying in a pile. It's the same Peter in a pile thing that every time he falls,
That's
like
right.
arm bent over backwards.
That's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, that exact pose there.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that coming.
Yeah. Cool. I think we're ready to get back in it. Unless you guys have any more questions about the Simpsons or OSP designers or
Family Guy
or Family Guy or anything there. I think we're still working on this one, Nate. Through the
we got
send the link for that knife.
for the knife. You know
Yeah.
what? The story on that is they. So I'll
you got to
show. I'll
you got to
show
show the
everybody
people now.
here.
Yeah, it's right there.
This is a knife that I have. The light's catching it a little bit. You might see it better.
It's
but
pink.
you can see it looks like a Simpsons donut, but it's actually a switchblade knife. So
until you hit that button, I always just want to eat it.
see, that's right. Look, an eclair with sprinkles on it.
It got sprinkles on the scales or the handle.
But the story here is that they had a version of this knife called the Desert Warrior.
Yes.
That had like a green blade with the brown handle scales on it. Yeah. And people kept typing it wrong, talking about it on the internet, calling it the Desert Warrior. So someone finally mocked up the Desert Warrior, and this company's like, you know what?
We're gonna make this.
So
and I actually like that that brand of knife, the Boker Kalashnikov is what it's called. It's great. It's inexpensive. That's a fantastic.
It's a very good
knife. Yeah.
If you like, I just think switchblades are fun.
Yeah.
You know, all I use them for is cutting open boxes of beer.
Honestly, boxes of beer.
So,
I used one earlier to open up the box that we got.
This knife has, just taken the life of so much tape. It's ridiculous there.
It truly is a Desert Warrior.
It is. Yeah. So, but yeah, fun knife stories, man. We're covering all kinds of topics today.
So many great things. Knives.
Stan, do you have any knife stories?
I accidentally brought home my box cutter today from the brewery.
Okay.
That's exciting.
That's cool. Yeah.
I cut my thumb on Thanksgiving Day because I kept flicking my knife obsessively. Like an idiot. Yeah, that was fun.
I saw, as with any hobby, we know this with beer, cigars, or anything, there's the extreme side of things. And there's knives that are multiple thousands of dollars, $2,000-$3,000 for a pocket knife. But I saw the other day someone had it was seriously a box cutter that used like what is that? What is the trapezoid? Trapezoid shaped razor blades, that you slide in and out. It was $250 for this box cutter.
Wow, that's ridiculous.
And people were scrambling to try and get this thing. I'm like, you know what? Okay, if it's your thing, it's your thing.
Oh, that little decorative pry bar, is it called the fulcrum? That's hundreds of dollars. It's a small stick. Pry bar. I actually have, but
I know because you're one of those people.
Because I'm an idiot. But no, it's a fun little thing. I used it to I used it for something. I think I used it as a pry bar for something. Honestly, it's got that.
You probably hunted something down to use it to justify the purchase.
I might have opened up a cigar box because they have those little nails through the lid, and it's good for that. I used it for something. And I think it's got on one end you can put the little screwdriver for opening the the
for what's on your knife.
Yeah, for what's on your knife. So yeah,
and a bottle opener. I think a little hook with a bottle opener, right?
Some of them. I don't know if it's on that one, but it's really dumb. But I got it.
We're neglecting our guests.
Oh,
here.
Sorry.
You
guys have any nice pry bars?
You know what? I'm learning a lot.
See, there's just so much here, Sean. So much. So.
First thing, I'm amazed you guys can actually just keep a conversation going just nonstop.
It's Tim.
No breaks.
It's
Sean. This is the thing. This is why we do radio, is because we're absolute loudmouths, and that's why we're here. So, all right,
confirmed.
All right, let's talk about NGBC, guys. Let's get back at it.
Follow the Beer Guys on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Now, back to the Beer Guys Radio Show.
Shake it back!
Welcome back to the Beer Guys Radio Show. Remember, all episodes are available on demand, so if you missed the broadcast, get the podcast. Beer Guys Radio is available on all popular and unpopular podcasting apps. Now let's get back to Neutral Ground Brewing Company.
Sean and Stan, thanks again for being here with us. We do appreciate it. And Sean, we're going to start with you because Stan, we know Stan. We know what he's got to say. So
right. We've heard it all before.
Yeah. So Sean, how did you and Stan meet, and how did you guys meet and lead to Neutral Ground Brewing Company?
Well, actually, I met Stan through Angela. His wife and my sister-in-law used to work together. and they became friends. And so, going to family functions, my sister-in-law, she'd invite Angela and Stan over to her house. And so I met him there. And, I don't remember how long ago it was, but he actually showed up with a growler, and he started sharing beers. And I wasn't even into craft beer at the time. And he poured me just this little sampler, like a little 4-ounce cup of beer. And I'm thinking, hey, where's the rest of it? And
Yeah.
and I tasted it, and then I realized, oh wow, this is good. This is not, Corona. This actually has some flavor to it. This is a good beer. And so from there we became friends, and ran into him at family functions and whatever, and I was actually at his wedding, and he and his wife came at the time we were still living in Louisiana, and he and his wife came down and spent some time with us for Mardi Gras and stuff. So, that's how we met, I guess.
It's the beautiful meeting. Sean, I've heard a lot of people, you talked about that first time, and first, like toting around beer and sharing it. That's so Stan.
Yes.
I mean, definitely.
Mhm.
But you're talking about the 4-ounce pour, and so many people that we've introduced to it, like they'll come hang out with us at the studio on the weekend just to share a beer, and it'll be 4, 5, 6 of us in here. We'll open up a single can and get these little teeny glasses and start passing it around, and they're like,
Right.
What are these guys doing, man? Do we really have to share one 12-ounce beer?
Right.
What are these guys doing? So,
Well, and there'll be times where we have a guest in here that isn't familiar with how we drink, and we'll pass them a beer. They'll take the whole thing and
They'll
fill
pour
up
it
a
open.
shaker pint, and then we'll look at him
what
and
are you
like,
doing? That's
what?
the only can we
Come
got.
on, what are you?
Right.
You gonna drink all that beer?
Yeah, it's you don't think about it. I mean, you're around enough, you just don't think about the different that what we do is, it's kind of weird and not normal, Brian.
Well, I don't know. I think it's kind of normal. We get to drink more different beers. We get more different stuff instead of a lot of the same. Who wants a lot of the same?
I'm down with it.
Yeah,
Man. I'm down with it. Now, Stan, we know, like I said, we've known each other a long time. How long did you homebrew before deciding you wanted to start a brewery?
I think I homebrewed about 30 minutes before I decided I wanted to start a brewery.
Oh, fair enough. Fair enough. How long did it take from that
It just
initial
took
thought?
another basically 15 years worth.
Wow, 15 years.
Yeah.
And I mean, you know what? We were serious for a while, but Stan, you've been pretty dedicated. I know, building the brewery in the backyard, all of that. You're a BJCP homebrew judge, correct?
Yes. Yep.
And all of that. So pretty serious about it there.
Yeah. It got pretty in depth, pretty fast with me. I enjoyed being able to see the creativity of what you can do, just the artistry of it. But the fact that the artistry takes so much science just kind of it hit both those levels for me. And I was like, yeah, I'm doing this.
Well, we see a lot of people that are in like engineering type disciplines that do get into brewing. I think that's you're a tinkerer, methodical in that, and scientific. It really does lend itself well to, mechanical, technical type of stuff, scientific as well as artist, and just raging alcoholism.
That's right.
It's the fusion of all of these.
It's heavy on the raging alcoholism. It's
Right.
neat being able to tweak little variables and see how it will affect what you get. And it's cool to be able to drink something that's, oh my goodness, this is a really good beer, and I made it.
Yeah.
That I never got over that from homebrewing, and I miss that from homebrewing.
Speaking of that, Brian, and speaking of homebrewing, I think this is a good segue for us. We are currently drinking right now a Neutral Ground Brewing Company Synesthesia Saison. Now, once again, if you've listened to our show for a while, you know this. Synesthesia was mine and Brian's homebrew recipe. We won several awards in different iterations of the beer over the years. And Stan, you had tried it before, and when you started Neutral Ground, Stan reached out and honored us by saying, can I use your recipe as our house saison? I think you said you did a little bit of edit to make it fit your system, correct?
Yep. So slight edits just to kind of keep the end product in relatively the same spot that you guys had it, but just kind of tweaking it to make it come out right.
Good
from
stuff,
my system.
man. Good
So,
stuff.
What kind of tweaks did you I'm curious fundamentally, like if you're scaling this up to larger and larger batches, are you going to use the same ingredients? You go with the same hops? Did you tweak those things? Obviously ratios of things, but
yeah, I kept the same. If I remember right, I'd have
I think
to
it's Mosaic.
look back. Yeah, Mosaic at Flame Out.
Yeah,
and it's a ton. I kept all that the way it was. Mosaic in there. I've got the traditional hops in the early. Let me see if I can pull that up real quick.
Do you do the long boil?
It's a critical step, Stan.
90-minute boil, not
All right.
120.
All right. Close. All right. We'll allow it.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you guys were dosing in an ounce of Hallertauer at 120, and I was like, I don't know if that's necessary, but okay.
You know what?
is doing creative stuff with it, and then just kind of, again, tailoring it down so that what the end product was as much like what I remembered it being. Not necessarily the process being the same, just the end product being the same. So.
Right. I'm enjoying it. I mean, it's nice to sip some synesthesia here. And, like you said, this recipe, we actually developed this one fairly young in our home brewing, quote unquote, career. And I reached out to several breweries we enjoyed. And there were things that we wanted to tweak, but we got into a routine of if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Mm-hmm. We liked the way it came out. So, if my original recipe called for throwing 3 burnt matchsticks in at 120 minutes, I probably would have still done that because it turned out where we wanted
exactly.
it there. So.
Right.
Well, each time you had to take the ceremonial sniff off of the purged keg to ensure that the brew came out properly. So
it's key.
It's really a critical
purged
keg.
There.
Yes, very
Absolutely.
important. So Sean, your background, did you do a bunch of home brewing before? Did you do any, or were you did you have a different background?
Well, no real home brewing other than that Mr. Beer kit.
Oh, okay. That's something.
We did
I did something with that. But no, my background is I've been in chemical manufacturing my whole working career. You mentioned, folks with scientific backgrounds gravitating to this industry. And so I have a chemistry degree. And so I've been in large scale manufacturing my whole career. And kind of like what you mentioned earlier, it's just really cool that now this is the first time that I can actually make something that I can consume. So this is great. I actually get to taste what I make now. And so that's pretty good.
I mean, technically, you probably could have tasted what you made before.
Could have
not been the best idea, but you could have. Right.
Yeah.
I do enjoy, tasting the toast I make and the ice cubes. That's about the only other things I do make myself.
Right? Yeah. I've watched it. I love your accent, Sean. I love it, man. I got to tell you,
thank you.
I am Louisiana in general is one of my favorite places to visit. I've done New Orleans and just the bayous there. A great story I've told. I went to visit New Orleans one time and we stopped at a mutual friend's house, or my friend's house on the way down there. And they did jambalaya and chicken and potato salad and all this around the fire, having a good time. And he had kind of a pit dug where we did the fire. And I needed to go to the restroom. So I was going back to the house, which is probably 50 yards away. And I say, hey, I'm going to go to the bathroom. I'll be right back. And he goes, okay. And he goes, he's like, just go to the woods there. I'm like, and he's like, yeah, just go to the woods. So I go to step towards the woods. He's like, make sure to watch out for the gators. And I kind of chuckle and he chuckles and he goes, no, but for real.
Right. Yeah. They might really be there.
So, So, but I mean, just awesome people down there, man. Just always a good time. So.
Oh yeah. I love it.
Indeed. Do we have enough time to get it? I don't know if we do to get into the story of Neutral Ground. What that means.
You know what I'll say? I tell you what, since we just got a little bit of time here, I've seen the food trucks you guys get there. And speaking of Louisiana and cooking, I've seen boudin, I've seen crawfish hand pies and that. I want to come visit. I mean, I'd try your beer if I was there, but I want to come visit and hit that food truck you guys get out. So,
that food's good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Does it pretty much feel like Mardi Gras all the time in the brewery? Is that kind of the vibe you're going for?
It's fun. I'll say that. And
it's fun.
I didn't want to dominate the New Orleans side of the partnership here. And we try to be a mix of the New Orleans and Texas. So we do try to incorporate both of the cultures into the brewery. But of course, as soon as I open my mouth, like you said, everybody says, you must be the guy from New Orleans.
It. You're the half from New Orleans there, right? Good stuff. Well, you are listening to the Beer Guys radio show. We need to take a break, but we will be back very soon with more from Neutral Ground Brewing.
That's
Tim's
cool.
always setting me up to ask a long question right at the end of a segment.
That's on you, man. That's on
Right,
you.
I saw the 30-second symbol go up, and I was
It's
like,
like,
"Ooh,
oh
I'll have
man,
to-
the next thing I got, no,
Story of
that's
Neutral
gonna
Ground.
take way too long.
Yeah.
Way too long.
See more knife stories here. Steven's telling us his son did a demo for a place a knife could go. You need one there. You got to
Just
have
put
it.
one in every single one. Yeah.
You know, I do like my knives. I just carry one, but some of these guys will show their what's in the pocket today. It's like they got 4 knives and a crowbar and a pocket power drill. I'm like, what are you carrying all this for, man?
You get one of those straps on the arm, but you can just have it mounted on the arm, little dagger or
14
something like that.
flashlights and stuff.
Now, all of my pockets, I've ruined one pocket clipping the knives on it. I don't need all the other pockets. I only just, I guess I have ones in the back. I don't need them all wrecked from clipping
just
on
the one.
Just the one
there. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm looking forward to talking about the story of the neutral ground.
How's that saison?
It's tasty, man. I'm enjoying it. Brian was all over. He didn't smoke a cigar today, and he's like, I want a fresh palate.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go in.
Well, I had one the other day, and it didn't set right with me. But then going back to cigars, I smoked a Drew Estate Natural that was dry in my car afterwards and enjoyed it. So I knew I was not right. Yeah, because I don't like Drew Estate Naturals typically. I'm annoyed by the sweet flavor that's in there. Don't hate them, just don't care for that. I don't want the sweetness. I'm like, all right, so I'm not right. This tastes better to me this time. Sure. And I see the resemblance. To our beer. It's not exactly the same.
Not exactly. No, we've done some tailoring with it at the brewery. Just that pilot system we're fermenting in poly tanks right now. So every batch comes out slightly different. So
all right. Well, we'll have to follow up on this and try it once everything's rocking and rolling in a more final condition.
Yeah.
I've got so many people I just need to get out and visit. Need to go to Fort Worth. I've been telling some of my coworkers on the day job, a couple are in the Dallas area. Mm-hmm. So I've been telling them, got a buddy's got a brewery in Fort Worth. You need to bounce over.
Yeah.
And get his beer.
Stop into was it Houston and make no stops at all and then leave.
Right. That's the plan. Go through Houston. There's nothing of interest there.
Nothing at all.
Yeah.
Oh, poor Troy.
Poor Troy.
Oh, good stuff.
I was actually in Atlanta last week, guys. Last Wednesday I would have been actually in the studio with you.
Hang out here in the studio. What'd you do in Atlanta, man? What'd you check out here?
My daughter just moved up there, actually.
Okay. All right.
So I came up there to visit her. She moved about 3 months ago or so. So just took the opportunity to come up there and visit her.
So you'll be over here a fair amount, so you can just kind of mule over some beers, drop them off at the studio. We can hang out for a bit.
Definitely. Now that she's there, I'll definitely be over there at least once or twice a year for sure.
Good stuff. You know what? Hit us up when you come through, man. We'll give you the Cool Kids Brewery tour. We'll go.
All right,
and introduce you to some of the good breweries and all that.
Yeah. And then at the after party, hanging out in this sweet studio right here,
man.
Yeah, this whole area here.
I did go to New Realm.
Realm. Yeah, gotcha. Cool. Oh, Mitch still there, man.
That's right.
Good one.
The guy who wrote the book on hops.
Wrote the book. Yeah. We got man, there's a lot of good stuff. The food, did you eat at New Realm?
No, I didn't eat there. I ate a couple doors down at the was it Two Urban Licks?
Two Urban Licks,
solid place.
Good place there.
Been a while since I've been there, but
did you have some lemon pepper wings while you were in Atlanta?
No, but I had a fried turkey wings.
Well, Sean, I got some news for you. Then you have not been to Atlanta.
Yeah, that's right. The lemon pepper wet.
Lemon pepper wet.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So no, man.
Grief.
That have you had these, Stan?
Wet lemon pepper wet? No, I have not.
Okay.
I've only had the dry rub lemon pepper before.
In the Wingstop version.
You sound like you're not a believer. No, you don't know. He doesn't know.
Nothing.
Oh, it's better than Wingstop, I guess. Huh?
I like wings that are just hot.
Okay.
Well, I guess hot could be a flavor.
We can change him though.
I like hot.
A great flavor.
Like, and what else? Just hot.
Just hot.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, we have some really good just hot chicken.
We do,
here,
yeah.
So.
We do actually have some good, solid hot chicken here.
As far as food and drink goes, man, Atlanta's we're pretty good here. So I think If you just want to come to Atlanta and all your goals are to eat and drink, you could have a great week here.
Oh,
no
yeah.
problem. So,
Easily.
Can confirm.
yep.
So what beer should we get into next?
What do you think we should tap next, guys?
Let's see. You've got the mild, the hazy, and King Cake.
Mild, hazy, King Cake, and juiciest berries.
Oh, juices and berries. And Sean
Juices.
can explain the name on that.
It's juices and berries.
Oh,
Juices and berries, yeah.
Yeah.
I think Brian may have had a little handwriting recognition problem.
yeah. I wrote this up the other night based on a picture I took of the can, and it looked like juiciest berry. I'm like,
It
okay.
does.
okay.
I can see it in the fridge now. It does. So
I have horrible
that is an
handwriting. So.
That is an and.
Well, that's an
instead of a
alternate
T.
name that you could use for a different version of this, perhaps.
There you
There you
go.
go.
Double dry hopped.
Double up, right?
berries.
The juiciest berries.
So what is it, guys? Where are we heading from? The mild, maybe?
Hazy.
Hazy. Okay.
Go hazy.
Hazy it is
Force
then.
majeure.
The force
Hazy.
majeure.
Then mild. Then juice and berries. And then King Cake.
Force majeure, which is Spanish for major force.
That's right. Spanish. Hold on. I think that's Creole for.
No, it's Spanish.
Is it? No.
It's,
I don't
I think it'd be
week.
Force
Latin?
Majeure or
Is it
something like that.
Latin?
we get a lot of
French.
we get a lot of Spanish speakers that come in and ask for force majeure.
Okay, I get you. Like, no, that is not. I mean, I
And
see
then a
where you're
bunch of
coming from
others.
there, buddy,
Yeah.
but that's not it.
Yeah,
But
a
you
bunch
know
of
it
other
means-
folks that just look at us weird and said, I just want what.
Oh wow, guys, the aroma on
the
this
hazy.
is killer. This is the aroma on that is also
Yeah.
Thanks.
Force majeure is actually an act of God.
that's good, man. Yeah, I know it from insurance clauses.
Right,
Like,
yeah.
There you
insurance is written.
An
Okay.
insurance clause that changes things to the new norm.
Yeah, yeah.
Disrupts
No,
the system.
no acts of God.
I, knock on wood, have not had to deal with a force majeure then because I didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know exactly what it was, but I had a feeling like it was this is a big deal force. I still don't know what kind of big deal
Well,
it is.
I know some like corporate policies and that recently have had to, like, hey, we need to talk to you about your like terrorism and plague clauses and stuff. And stuff. The new normal. The new
Plague?
normal. The new normal.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, and force majeure is a big lawyer term too. So you
Yeah.
don't want to be involved
Yeah.
with any force majeures except for this one.
Yeah,
Yes,
just mean-
right.
means
Exactly.
we're not liable because this was something that nobody could have predicted would happen, kind of deal.
Yeah.
So if I have like 14 of these and it just gets stupid out there, I'm
We're
clear,
not liable.
right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Who could have
Yes.
ever predicted you would get
Right.
hammered off of 14
Right.
of these?
I'd like to plead the force majeure. She's like, that's not the way this works. That's not the way
I
this
plead the
works.
force. I plead the force.
That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works.
That's right. That's
So
what's
you're not
right.
in court.
Right. Sir, this is a Wendy's.
Wow.
I think I saw that video on recently on Reddit. It didn't go
Yeah.
so well.
This is a Wendy's. Good stuff, man. Cool. Shall we do it? Shall we go back in? Let's rock, guys.
Rock and roll.
All righty.
Follow the Beer Guys on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Cannonball coming.
Now, back to the Beer Guys radio show.
Welcome back to the Beer Guys Radio Show. I want to give a quick shout out to one of our newest radio affiliates, WGSO 990 AM in New Orleans, Louisiana. Catch Beer Guys Radio on WGSO every Saturday at 8 p.m. Now let's get back to Neutral Ground Brewing Company.
How appropriate, Brian.
Yes.
Welcome, New Orleans. We're glad
Just
to
in
have
time.
you. We have talked to we've talked to some breweries down there before. Who all have we talked to out of New Orleans? We had Urban South
I
on.
was gonna say, is Parish?
We
They're
had
not
Urban
quite
South. They're outside of I think they're outside of New Orleans a ways.
a little ways.
Parish.
Yeah, parishes, but they'd be available down there.
Yes,
So-
Absolutely.
Yes, it would be. Absolutely. Guys, we want to talk about neutral ground, specifically the term and the origins there of what is neutral ground, because that term does have a little meaning here, correct?
Absolutely. Yes. So in New Orleans, we don't have medians. The middle of the street, the grassy area is called the neutral ground. And it's a term that's been in New Orleans forever. But the original meaning of neutral ground and where the term derived in New Orleans is after the Louisiana Purchase, the border between Texas and Louisiana was actually in dispute. And so, the United States Army would push the Mexican Army back. Mexican Army would push the U.S. Army back. And so finally, the two generals got together and said, you know what? We'll stay over here. You stay over here. And we'll let the politicians figure it out. And so that area in dispute between Texas and Louisiana was called the neutral ground. And so I'm from Louisiana, Stan's from Texas. So we came together, and so we named it the neutral ground.
There you go. When you guys are at the brewery, do each one of you stay on opposite ends of the brewery there?
We socially distance.
That's right. Yeah. So
a line down the middle of the brewery.
Shaking fist at each other across the room. So
yeah. So I was looking into it. Wasn't there? So it was a peaceful area, though. There was no conflict in that, despite there might be conflict outside of that range. Is that correct, or am I reading something into it that really wasn't intended?
Well, the actual unintended consequence of the area was that by not having military presence in that area, that there was actually some, little lawlessness and free reign living in the area. So that's actually another.
So it was relatively peaceful.
Yeah, it was peaceful. There was no law.
There was no law to keep people in check.
Right.
Like everybody did whatever they wanted to. If you were running guns or running alcohol or running anything, you hung out in the neutral ground because nobody would come there to come after you.
It was very peaceful, except for all the murders and violence.
That's right. Running around drinking Kink Cake beers and murdering people.
Also known as Portland 2021.
Oh, yeah. Portland 2021. That's a good point.
One neighborhood in Portland 2021.
Right, yeah, exactly. The not so neutral grounds.
Yeah, seriously. Oh, my goodness.
So, Stan, when we were talking, kind of setting up before the show and just chatting with you, you mentioned that you guys are open. You're serving beer. You've got great snacks there, but you're not quite where you want to be equipment-wise. That's still a work in progress at Neutral Ground, correct?
Still a work in progress, a very long and arduous work in progress. We had delays on getting our equipment in first, with all the shipping delays that came on that everybody's experiencing in every form or fashion, except for milk crates, apparently. We
get all of those you need.
Okay, yeah.
Instead of getting everything all at once, we got our brew house in March. We got our fermentation vessels in early June, and we got our bright tanks in mid-July. And boiler came in somewhere in the mix too. We never got anything all together. It just came in very piecemeal, and it's not really. You're not really able to put it together piecemeal. Like you need everything in its place to have the electricians come in and do their work, have the plumbers come in and do their work. You can't just be like, hey guys, you want to come in and just wire up this one box, and then maybe we'll have you come back in a couple of months or something else. They're not going to do that. So
makes sense.
We finally got everything in and been trying to get our head straight on getting all the subs in and getting all that work done. And we're still floating in limbo currently.
Okay. But the beer's flowing, so that's a good start.
You're rocking and rolling basically your pilot. What's going to be your pilot system, right?
Yep. So my current big system to brew on full batches, or what I can get out of full batches right now, is a 1.5 barrel pilot system. And then my current pilot system is my old homebrew 12-gallon setup. So it's hard to keep beer on with thirsty drinkers around. So, like this week, knocking out four batches this week. I'll put in another 4 next week. It's just continually turnover. So it's a little exhausting from that standpoint.
We've seen a lot of breweries here, Stan. I've seen this happen several times over like the last year or so, where a brewery will open up, put their beers on tap, and like the middle of their second day, they're like, hey, y'all, we're out of beer. And we had a lot bigger response than we expected. We'll get back on as soon as we can, and guess it's good that people are thirsty there.
People underestimate. It sounds like a lot of liquid, but when you get enough people together, it doesn't last. It really doesn't.
Very fast.
Especially if you're crazy like Stan and you're brewing 12 gallons at a time for a commercial brewery. So,
right.
It's about as nano as it gets.
Yeah.
He's emptying into the serving tanks, and it's actually, he can't fill it into the vessel quick enough to
actually just have a really long hose that it ferments.
That's it. Just
on the
go
way.
straight
Ferments
through there.
in the draft line. That reminds me of that little satirical video I saw where the smallest nano brewer of all time. It's like a little dollhouse glasses.
Right.
Like the ultimate in craft,
Super
the
LA.
very finest of liquid.
Drink the smallest glass you can, man. That's the way we're about. You get to drink more that way.
That's right. More of them.
Sean,
I was gonna just add to that. It is kind of frustrating sometimes because Stan puts in an 8 hours on a brew, and then we put it on tap, and then it's gone in 8 hours. So
right, yeah. He's like, I worked hard for this,
right?
So.
At least it lasts you 8 hours. I mean, it would be even worse if it was gone in an hour. That's you're losing ground there.
Yeah, most people are going around wanting people to be drinking more at their brewery. Stan's going, you know what? Take it easy. Just slow it, sip it, enjoy it.
That's right.
So,
have you tried the food cart? It's really good.
You don't need a second beer.
You look dehydrated. Let me get you some water.
So for that reason, we've been technically under soft opening circumstances since we opened it in March. Yeah. And we haven't had any kind of grand opening or anything like that. And it's basically once that system's up and I can start putting batches in the big tanks, then we'll schedule, actually having a grand opening 6 months after we open. So I don't know when to count our anniversary, or we just party every 6 months.
That. Yeah.
Right. I go back to when you started homebrewing, so you can right out of the gate say you've been doing it for like 16 years.
My 15th anniversary. Like, they've been here 15 years?
I was like, wow.
Yeah.
It's all the new paint. You didn't notice this before.
Right. Yep. Sean, we're going to have a little fun here, man. I'm going to ask you some questions about Stan, true or false.
Oh, boy.
These are things I may or may have not experienced with Stan or seen Stan do. So, true or false, Stan has brewed during a tornado?
I would say false.
That is not false. It is true.
It is true.
Yep. In Georgia, as a matter of fact, we were brewing a porter.
Chocolate porter.
A chocolate porter. Tornado sirens went off.
Yep.
And Brian has a little video of seeing a little rotation, as they call it.
Yeah, cloud rotation, yes.
Yeah. But we're so used to them here. We didn't stop brewing.
Yeah,
I should have known that, because once he does get started on a brew, he's gonna finish it.
Just go through with it.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing on that batch is that we started that, then the sirens kicked off, then the storm started.
Yeah,
and sirens kicked off. I went in the house, and these knuckleheads walked out in the driveway. I was like, I wonder what's happening.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
Right there, man.
Hold my camera up, like a lightning rod, looking to see if I could get any video of a tornado. Yeah.
Trying to get a tent over the boil kettle so we didn't get too much rainwater.
That's true, and we still didn't save the beer. It didn't turn out well.
And the beer went bad on us.
It went sour. Yeah.
All right, so we got just a little bit of time left. So one more true or false question. Right. I have seen Stan argue with a motel wall.
I believe that. Yes,
that's a true story.
That's definitely true.
That's a true story.
Wait, was it a motel or a hotel? Because that might be technically false.
This was a hotel. So yes,
technically false.
Technically false.
During the good times that we spoke of earlier in Chattanooga, after we were all going back, Stan had a little trouble finding his room and had a little disagreement with the outside wall of the hotel. So so those are the true false questions of Stan. You're listening to the Beer Guys Radio Show. We need to take a break, but we'll be back real soon to talk more with Neutral Ground Brewing Company.
Hilarious. Yeah, I should have known the answer to the tornado one. It obviously wasn't a tornado when you started.
No, it was not. It was gray and overcast, but it was.
It was
right. Yeah,
just any kind of rainy day, really.
Yeah.
But if there were thunderstorms predicted in that day, you probably wouldn't have brewed with the doors open. So
we don't let it get to us. So we got some other questions here. We got look at this, Jennifer Gonzalez. I see some little hard eyes there for Stan. You get the Stan Club, the Stan Club fan club there.
So they can see us. Okay, they can see us while they're live.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this dude right here,
Oh, Reeve.
Dan Reeve.
I heard of that guy.
He comes from our old cigar stomping days from way back there. So, and said it twice. I'm not sure what this was related to, but Jennifer Gonzalez.
I think she was guessing that it was true that all these things happen.
Yeah. Okay. She's on it. She's
100% correct.
She nailed it there. Yeah. Yeah. So good times. Yes. Yeah, we had fun here on the Stan, were you down when we did the big meetup at my house? Like everybody came in and we barbecued.
The chairs.
Did you barbecue chairs? What are you talking about?
No, because I know Stan was down once, but
I don't think
Joy
I was down.
here and JJ was here and CD came in and all. Okay, I didn't remember if you were there for that party or not. So
no, was that the lawn chair incident?
No, that was not.
Okay.
That was not. No, that was
a lawyer incident, right?
Huh?
Was that a lawyer incident?
Was that the lawyer incident?
Oh, that was that. What did we come up with him?
A cat's lawyer or whatever?
What was the name?
Oh hell, I don't know.
Drunken werewolf, the something lawyer, the naked lawyer. That's a great story. That too long to share.
That might not be good for even streaming. I don't know. It's a little
the rum sucker.
The rum sucker.
The
rum sucker. Yeah.
I had a $100 bottle of rum that was 7/8 of the way full, and the rest of us went to bed. And when I woke up in the morning, it was empty. And this gentleman, who was an attorney, I went to go out back, and his clothes, underwear included, are strode all over my backyard. And we wake him up, and I'm like, what's going on here? My rum's gone. This is, there's clothes all over my backyard, underwear on my picnic table. And here's the fun part. He's in my easy chair with a blanket on him, only covering from like knees to chest. And I'm like, if the underwear and pants are in the backyard, what's on my chair right now?
I think the bare backside.
Well, he had put on some shorts.
Oh, okay.
So,
all right. Yeah, you got lucky there.
But when we woke him up, much like Stan, he woke up and turned towards the wall and stood there seriously for like 15 minutes. I'm like, dude, what happened last night? He goes, what? I was like, what happened last night? Your clothes are all over my backyard. No, they aren't. I'm like, I'm looking at him, man. I'm looking at him. So
expert lawyer. He denied all the charges.
Lawyer till the end.
He's like, it was a force majeure.
That was a force majeure. I was going to bring up the beer in the last segment.
Yeah. So that is how he was dubbed Naked Lawyer, the Rum Sucker.
Ah, there you go. Yeah.
There you go.
I remember the name now that you say it, the Rum Sucker. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Dan Reed had another comment.
Dan, what's Dan got to say? Stan was trying to. Oh yes, yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
Vaguely familiar.
That's right. Dan was there in Chattanooga.
Yeah,
for the
of course
good
he would have
been.
been.
All over there. Yeah.
That year and maybe a year after it brought people in from all over.
Jennifer's right. They've been lippy with walls because these guys know something about walls that we don't.
That's right.
They don't. They're taking care of the demons.
That could be a good beer name. I know something about the wall that you don't. I mean, just as a name of a beer.
It sounds like a craft beer.
Unlikely that anybody else has used that yet. Unlikely, not out of the.
I'll throw it through the trademark tracer.
Throw it through the TM
there you go,
man.
Yeah.
Throw it through there.
And make that the
good stuff.
Make that a very hefty stout, something like 20%.
Yeah.
So we
I
probably
would really hate to find out that that's been taken and get CDA'd on that.
If they did, it's probably Jason Pellets.
Oh, probably. Yeah.
Orpheus Brewing here in Atlanta. He has names.
He'd be angry because that
lines.
is only part of the beer name and not the complete name. So he'd be outraged that you used it and outraged that you didn't use the entire name. So,
There you go.
Yeah, 'cause one of his beer names is seriously like a white curtain blowing in the breeze next to a chair on which no one sits.
Yes.
And I believe it's from
Sylvia Plath or something like that.
I forget the.
I think that's right. It's a poet. It's some work of literature, but
yeah.
Shel Silverstein.
Yeah,
That's
probably that's it. That's got to be it.
Upon
Where the sidewalk ends.
never ends. Yes. I love that book as a kid, though. I was all over that one, man. Gentlemen, we've just kind of chatted here and let things flow. So we probably need to talk about your beer some more. And we're definitely getting into this King Cake in the fourth segment. But what do you guys, as we go into this last segment, what do we want to make sure people know? Anything particular we want to cover? Or should we just let it keep flowing here?
I say just let it keep flowing. Just let them know we're here and we're open. And
We're here and we got beer.
We're here.
Yeah, we're
beer.
here. Got beer. Come
All right.
check
They
us
did.
out.
Stan did ask it in the email form anyway that we talk about the Harvest series. So
Cool.
we should
do
work that in.
Oh, yeah.
Let's try and talk just kind of about your beers here in the last segment. I promise no more stories about dessert knives or wall arguments or tornadoes. Or lawyers.
I think we've used up all the good Stan stories now.
That was it, man.
I mean, there's more, but just not the best ones.
Hey guys, we didn't get to talk about it yet, but the force majeure, I dig that profile on this a lot. Really nice aroma.
Thank you.
I like the body. There's a little bit to it. It's not just fruity. There's a little bit of bitterness there that you got an IPA happening, basically.
Right.
So I dig it. I know you dig it, don't you?
I'm down with it. I'm down with it. I can't. I won't turn down a well-made IPA.
Right.
We could start in asking about that and then go into another beer because it's just that whole force majeure thing is interesting. Okay. Maybe just to me. I don't know.
Okay.
I wasn't unaware of the concept behind it.
Yeah, it's used. I mean, again, legal speak. You see it in contracts, especially insurance clauses and stuff like that. They'll throw force majeure out there a good bit.
Yeah, indeed. So which one? Oh, yeah, we're correcting into.
They don't believe in God until He told us your house, and then
that's right. Well, it's an act of God.
Right.
So we're looking for somebody to blame. I'm like, God, who?
That's God.
Yeah, God.
That guy
he
again.
totally. Yeah, that's that boulder that crushed your car. Yep, that was God.
All right.
Why is it not like devil majeure? Like, oh, that was Satan.
That would say no. Yeah.
Like, why is God getting the rap
because
for
it's
this?
expected from him. He wouldn't get a pass. It'd be like, oh,
you
yeah.
should have expected.
I mean, it
this.
is Satan.
Did you get your devil insurance? I mean,
I know. I still made a mess with it. So
I think these are technically considered crowlers, aren't
technically crowlers. I am famous for making a mess anytime I'm allowed to be the first one to pour a crowler. So. And I just did it with this can of King Cake, so we're going to consider this a crowler. There you go.
It's the half crowler.
Force of Mother Nature.
I feel like we're not getting the full experience. We didn't get sprinkles to put on top of the.
Yeah, you're missing the dressing.
See?
Yeah.
I feel like you need to rim the glass in that. What's it called? Royal icing, I think they put it. The royal icing. And then the multicolored sugar dip.
I was gonna say, did you see? Have you seen the pictures from their social media?
I have. Sure have. Yep.
Right. You're not getting the full King Cake experience now.
Yep.
We're doing the best we can here in the Beer Guys radio studio.
I'm gonna throw this down real fast and see if I choke on a baby.
There you right. Hold on. That would be if I'm gonna keep it in case I get messy again. All right.
That is a thing, right? It's like a little baby toy inside.
Though? They used to put them in there, but like. Do they still put them inside, like down your way?
Yeah, they put it in the box and they leave it up to the purchaser to shove it in there somewhere.
Yeah,
because they don't want to be liable for someone accidentally choking on it.
Little force majeure right there with the baby.
Majured that baby right down
baby
your throat.
majeure.
So. Oh man, aroma's nice. Yeah. See, I've been told a few places here do a pretty good King Cake, and I'll admit it's been many years since I've had a legit one. When I lived in Mississippi, a lot of times they just get them from Louisiana there, so we got
right.
But Publix grocery store here does one, and I've heard a few people say, look, it's not New Orleans good, but if it's what you've got available, it'll do.
It'll work.
So, yeah, I enjoy it.
Pinch.
Now I need, you know what? I want a switchblade that looks like a King Cake now.
Oh yeah.
See?
Dessert Warrior too.
Yeah.
When you flip the blade, a baby comes up.
That's it. Yes.
Baby shaped blade.
You flick it, and like if you're having to defend yourself, you flick it. They're thrown off because a baby flies at them. What was that? Where did you have that thing?
Dessert Warrior 2, Mardi Gras. It's a name. It's a knife. It's the only knife that has like a semicolon in the name.
And the only knife that has a sequel.
The sequel, right? The
sequel. Oh god.
Get some lift your shirt, it'll throw you some beads.
Yeah.
So that's it.
You flip it every third time, it throws beads. It's like a baby
Right.
beater knife. You don't know what you're gonna get.
That's really the most Mardi. See, that's the most Mardi Gras thing at NGBC is Stan walks around lifting his shirt all the time. So
You think I wear a shirt at the brewery?
good point. My
That's
bad.
a good point.
I didn't mean to make assumptions.
People
there.
can't see the tassels if he's wearing
That's
a shirt.
Right. That's right.
True
Make
story.
him
He
stand
did.
for me.
He did try to change his shirt in the front of the house one day, and his wife was there at the time. She's like, "Go in the back with that."
See, yeah, I can see that.
Ain't nobody want to see that.
It ain't open.
An
Yeah.
inspiring lawyer.
Huh?
Is Stan an inspiring lawyer?
Could be, man. Could be.
Yeah.
Stan, you know what?
I needed more rum.
I just realized Stan and Brian are beard brothers. Looking at the logo on Stan's shirt and where the beard goes to, you guys are pretty close there.
Yeah.
And
We're in
Sean,
the
you
same
and
area.
I are beard brothers. It seems.
Yeah.
So yeah,
As
The
in
lack thereof.
the lack
Yeah.
thereof. That's the duo. Brian has enough beard for both of the beer guys.
That's right.
Yeah.
So when I finally do lose my hair, I'm going to comb it over.
That's
Right-
it, just
right on the
right
top.
up there.
Yeah.
You've seen those competitions where people do that, man. Make like little
Yeah.
swirly gigs and
I'm-
all that.
With enough, it's really hard to get this to behave because it's so
See,
frizzy.
there you
but
go, Stan. There you go.
I can almost pin it together on top.
Yeah. And you know what? I've seen other pictures of Stan. He actually got gussied up for us. I mean, he's looking pretty sharp tonight. So,
He doesn't look homeless.
trimmed it down. Yeah, I mean, he's in a house and everything.
Yeah.
Shirt of hair on, pants
All my
are
hair's
on.
pulled
so-
back.
You assume.
You
Yeah.
assume.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's actually just a cardboard cutout behind him.
That's it, man. That's why
Really
he's
nice.
like, don't lean back too far. I'll take the wall down.
It's like the laptop sitting in a shopping cart in front of him.
yes, yeah, yeah. Do what
Oh,
you got to
man.
do.
Yeah, you know they do free backgrounds on these things now. You
They
know?
do.
Oh,
Man.
that's a good point. Yeah,
It's
Yeah.
a city park behind me, actually.
that's right.
Yeah, he's got a green screen up there. It doesn't matter if it's a tarp; it still counts
Yeah,
as a green
exactly.
screen. So
Wow.
what's that? He could.
So
be
it's a porta potty wall, but you know,
know,
hey, it
really,
works.
I mean,
No echo.
with very with very little technology, seriously, like a green tarp and a cheap laptop. I mean, you know, homeless person could have a very successful streaming show.
Exactly.
Yeah,
You know,
I think
so.
it's that internet connection might be a problem for them.
But you know what? Like
Park outside of
municipal,
a Starbucks.
yeah, and
Starbucks,
municipal
yeah.
Wi-Fi
Could
is
do that.
becoming a thing now. So they can make it work, Stan. If you believe it, you can achieve it. Yeah. So
Like, well, when I go broke and homeless, I'll start in
pro tips.
homeless
Pro
beer
tips.
guys radio.
There you go.
How not to brew by Stan
How
Hudson.
not to brew. It'll be 16 blank pages and then like a picture of a cat that he draws. And then and like, you know what? This does hold true to the title.
It does not tell you how to brew. Yeah.
And it's also 17 pages of toilet paper when you need it.
Right. This is quality stuff.
all right.
Quality
Yeah.
stuff.
Good
All
show.
right, gents.
Glad we're recording it all. Yeah.
Let's get on it.
Follow the Beer Guys on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Back off, man. I'm a scientist.
Now, back to the Beer Guys radio show.
Welcome back to the Beer Guys Radio Show. If you enjoy the show, please consider supporting us on Patreon. Just go to patreon.com/beerguys. Patrons get cool perks like Beer Guys swag and commercial-free episodes. Now let's get back to Neutral Ground Brewing Company.
NGBC guys, we've had a great time chatting with you. You know, we've just kind of let it flow here, reminiscing with Stan and telling fun stories and all that, and hopefully letting people know about the personality at NGBC and some of the
Indeed.
beers that you get there. And speaking of the beers, we do not want to miss telling people about their beers more.
Yes.
So we just finished their Force Majeure
Yes.
hazy IPA, and Stan, I really dig that one, man. I really like the profile on that. Really nice aroma up front. Nice fruity aroma. It's got that fruitiness that people are going to be looking for. When they hear hazy IPA, but there's a little bitter. You're drinking an IPA because some of these can get buried. The IPA-ness can get buried in some of these hazy. So was that kind of your goal with this one?
Yeah, absolutely. As much as a fan of the hazies I've been, to me, it's still an IPA, and it should have a little bit of. It should remind you that it's an IPA. It doesn't need to be
right.
Like West Coast level bittering or anything crazy. It just needs to be like, hey, yeah, here's a pop of bitterness. Just remember that that's where we are.
That this is a beer.
Yeah,
because you can miss that on some of them. This is a beer, and you'll know it.
Yeah. The thing that I was intrigued by was the name and the meaning of the name, because I'd heard the term, I didn't know what it was. Yeah. Is there a story behind that, the force majeure, or was it just kind of a cool term that you thought, hey, this could apply to a beer?
Yeah, a kind of cool term. It just, I've got, I think every brewer does. I've got a notepad list on the app on my phone. It was like just driving down the road. It was, that would be a good name. Punched it in real quick. And, at some point, I don't know if I was listening to audiobooks or the news or what, but I heard that term and I was like, wait a minute, that's a cool name.
That's it.
That's going with the definition, I was like, yeah, that works. It's like just that epic movement of some sort to change the nature of the situation that nobody saw coming. I was like, that's a cool definition.
Surprise.
And it kind of fits in with us trying to open a brewery. We're way behind our opening schedule, as you know, and the reason we're behind is because of a force majeure event. Going on in this country. We were actually supposed to open in of 2020.
Yeah.
Good timing, guys.
Oh, yeah.
Just really great timing there. So
I didn't even think about that. I was thinking, it's like, oh, yeah, you got hurricanes out there. It's like, oh, no, the pandemic, obviously.
There was a pandemic.
Duh. I mean, that's kind of a thing. Right?
You know what, though? It's going on so long, we miss it. I mean, like, cases
it became the new normal. It's now normal.
Sure, because cases are spiking now. People are like, we're going to send the kids back to school.
That's right.
It's fine.
Yeah,
I want to work from home, but let's go ahead and load these schools up with kids.
That's right.
So,
yeah,
good idea. Well, Stan, sorry, go ahead there.
Nope.
No. Okay,
right.
cool. Then you know what? We want to move on. I think we can't miss talking about this beer. We're sipping your King Cake right now. Your flagship, your neutral ground, the Louisiana touch right there in Fort Worth, Texas. Guys, I know in the brewery, in the tap room, we do get a little multicolored sugar rim on the glass, correct?
Correct. Yep.
See, we didn't prepare, Brian. We should have prepared for that, but nice King Cake flavor in this beer.
Yeah. I've not had much in the way of King Cake.
Okay.
And to be honest, I didn't know what King Cake was before, like maybe a couple years ago. When we started home brewing, I think one time you were talking about King Cake. I'm like, what's that? Yeah. And you're like, oh, you don't know what King Cake is? Like, no, I'm from the Northwest. We have no idea what these things are.
Dunkaroos, King Cake, man.
Well, I mean, there's not a big calling for King Cake, I don't think, in Portland, Oregon. So
that's Portland's problem.
Yeah. That and fighting in the streets, but that was a different time. Yeah. So So what the heck is King Cake, guys? What's the deal with this stuff? I still don't know the full story.
Well, King Cake is a pastry that comes out in New Orleans around Mardi Gras time. It's the 12th night cake, basically, and what it is, it's just like a really kind of like a cinnamon roll kind of consistency, and it usually has a baby in it, and there's many stories as to what's the meaning of the baby and what's the symbolism there. But the modern day use of the King Cake is around Mardi Gras season. Somebody kicks it off basically and brings a King Cake to a party or to the office, and then whoever gets the baby is just responsible for buying the next King Cake and bringing it next week. And so it kind of keeps the thing going. But it's basically just a cake that's usually available just around the Mardi Gras season.
It's a racket to keep cake.
That's right.
In the office, man.
It's by Big Cake. Big Cake behind it. Big pastry.
Yeah. Right.
During Mardi Gras season, there's no donuts usually. It's like somebody brings King Cake.
All the King Cake.
It just
can't argue with that.
I wonder if Dunkin' Donuts does just king cakes the entire time down there.
They should.
I mean,
they should. Yeah. Now, Brian. Brian had mentioned there talking about the king cake. They do these in a lot of varieties, different fillings and stuff. Is there plans to do it up with this king cake and do other offerings, or is this the king cake?
I've got it in my mind to do some variety on it. Maybe specifically around Mardi Gras time.
Right.
We just put we put out like 3 or 4 different versions of it, kind of similar to having all the different versions of a king cake. There's, even getting into like the Zulu cake with the chocolate and coconut. And, there's so many variations on a king cake now that really lend itself to doing really cool pastry beers as well. So
right. Yeah.
Why not, But, as far as what we're going to offer as our always king cake beer, it's going to be this beer for now and ever.
And this is a flagship for you. Like it's the headliner beer for your brewery. Like
yes,
at this point. Yeah. Okay.
At this point, like this is enough to get people in the door to come. They want to know what it is and come check it out. And then they stay for the rest.
Yeah. You mentioned pastry beers, and Brian, you had mentioned pastry. This is not when I heard king cake beer, when I heard you were doing a king cake beer, I expected something big and thick and boozy and all that. This is drinkable. I mean, this
absolutely
ounce pour of it. I'm not even sure what I'd call the base style in this. Does it fit any guideline of a base beer style?
It really doesn't. The closest it kind of comes is like a British golden or like one of the lighter shilling Scottish, as a base. But there's so much going on between all the different malts and other fermentables in there that it really doesn't fall into any category at all. It's just kind of standalone.
Right. But if it's one that if you like to have a little flavor, you want a little spice, a little pastry, the cinnamon notes in that, this is one you can drink. You don't have to just sip it and go get your blood sugar tested.
This is one
right.
I'm thinking,
yeah,
because we're coming up on the season where there'll be 1 million pumpkin beers out there. I don't want any of those pumpkin beers. I'll drink king cake beer.
There you go.
Because it's got a little bit of spice to it. I'm like, it satisfies that desire for a little bit of interesting warming spice in a beer. I'm like, I'm down with that.
I mean, a couple cans of pie filling in the mash for this, and Stan could easily throw this on these spices on for his
that's a good point.
For the pumpkin beer set.
For the holiday pumpkin beer.
That's it, man.
It's too late in the year to offer it though.
This is true. This is true.
Days for launch.
Yeah. August I can't wait for July when the July-toberfest come out.
Yeah, July-toberfest. So something that you were asking or telling us about was coming out is the Harvest series of beers. What is that? What are we talking about here?
So the Harvest series, my parents have a couple 100 acres back home that have a significant number of fruit trees. Not enough to be considered an orchard per se, but enough fruit production that I can make a beer. And so what my plan to do is each year I'm going to, mom and dad have agreed to give me the majority of the harvest so that I can implement that into a beer. And so each year it's going to be different based on what the harvest produces. Like this year we're working on right now. I've got it packaged, just waiting for it to carb up and be ready for tap. I've got an apricot pale ale, and then later, it's in the middle of fermentation now. I've got a dark saison with plum, and all the apricots, all the apricots and all the plums came from my parents' place.
There we go.
It sounds like a possibility to get some wild stuff going on too at some point in the future. All those things seem like they'd be fun in a wild ale too.
Yeah.
I mean, that's down the road probably for you a bit.
There.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Seltzers, are they going to happen at NGBC?
We'll see.
Okay. Never say never, right?
He didn't shoot it down like I was kind of hoping he might.
It's kind of one of those things you get broken down after a while. It's like a seltzer.
A silent sighs, like,
yeah.
Okay, maybe.
And if he did no room to brew those right now, even if you did want to, right?
Have no room to brew.
Yeah, exactly.
No room to brew.
Well, guys, thank you. Right. Guys, we really appreciate you joining us. We're about out of time here. Stan, good catching up with you, man. Good times.
Absolutely, man. Good
excellent. Sean, great chatting with you. Take care of Stan. He needs it.
Yes.
But is there anything else you want folks to know about NGBC?
We're open. Come drink beer.
We're here and we got beer. That's great. And if folks want to know when to come visit and what's happening, what's the best place to do that?
You can get all our information off our website. It's got all our socials, our hours, our address, everything. And our website is simply ngbc.beer.
NGBC.beer. Sounds good, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Cheers, guys. Thanks.
Cheers.
Appreciate it.
Well, that about wraps it up for this episode of the Beer Guys Radio Show. Join us next week. We're going to be at Classic City Brew Fest, Brian. We're going to talk to some of the brewers there. 25th anniversary of Classic City. For more craft beer info, follow us online. We are Beer Guys Radio on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great week, and don't forget to drink local. Cheers. Clear.
We didn't have time.
We did it.
Man, that was fun.
Thanks, guys, and we enjoy it.
Yeah.
We didn't have fun to ask it, or didn't have time to ask it. But you're talking about various versions of Kink Cake. It's like, hold on, where's the beignet beer? The beignet and coffee beer. That's what I want to see.
No, Kink Cake's in Chicago.
Oh, okay.
But the good thing is that also means no baby guts.
There you go.
But the thing is in Chicago, they stuff like they'll stuff a sausage inside of a pizza, and if you find the sausage in you got to buy the next deep dish.
Okay, I'm down with that.
Yeah.
There is a place in Chicago that will shove an entire piece of Black Forest cake into a chocolate milkshake.
Let's do it.
So there's that.
Let's do it.
And Steven was correct with that as far as
with the three kings there.
Yep.
With the Epiphany. Okay.
Right. Yeah. It actually has religious roots.
How about that, man?
Yeah. And
I love how New Orleans
it historically ties back to there's a Spanish cake. It's
Rosca de Reyes.
Yeah. Rosca de Reyes. Thank you.
Rosca de Reyes.
So it all historically kind of comes from the same direction.
Which is Spanish for force majeure.
That's
those that do not know. So,
it is Spanish for force majeure.
Yeah.
So the coffee and beignet beer is that happening? So now that I just made it up.
So I have the English mild you guys have. I have a version of that I do with chicory coffee. I also do it with just standard cold brew. We've got a coffee shop down the street from us that we frequent plenty. And I've now got a keg of his nitro cold brew at the brewery that we're going to put on, but I'm also going to rob some to put into the Renaissance.
A mild is nice with coffee.
Yeah.
You don't want to go too bold with it, but it's nice.
A little bit of cold brew in that. Yeah, that'd be good. And if you guys did at some point decide to start roasting beans, you've got a great name already. Neutral Grounds.
That's it. Just
like boom, you've got the coffee name right there already.
At least once a week we get somebody that walks in and thinks
you're a coffee shop. Yeah. See, you got to capitalize on that, man. Right. If enough people come in and ask, and then get some coffee.
Just put an espresso machine in there, a little pod thing, we got coffee. Come on in.
Put the K-cup machine behind the counter and be like, you know what? Our barista will get that shot.
You stand there behind the counter with your hands on there, go
right.
That'll be $8.
Get the little barista towel and tuck it in your. Here you go.
Yep.
There you go.
$8
oh, man.
K-cup.
$8.
You should have gone with the beer. It's cheaper, but whatever.
Right, that's it. But you want coffee.
That's the premium line.
Then someone walks back there. It's like the wizard from the pulling the curtain back on the Wizard of Oz. Hey guys, hang here with us. We're gonna clear here online, but hang with us just a second.
Okay.
Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. Thank you so much for joining in. Great conversation this week. Great chat this week. Always a good time. So thanks for tuning in. Make sure to not next week, because we won't be here next week.
No, we won't be
because
doing
we got a beer fest that we're going to be doing. So
over the weekend,
a couple of weeks. I think we got another beer fest. There's really no telling what we've got coming up here.
8 straight beer fests.
Weeks.
Yeah.
But we'll see you soon. We'll post online so you can keep up with us. Thanks so much, y'all, and we'll talk to you soon.
Awesome.